Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel in which I document my 2021 no-buy year. Today, I have an empties video. It's actually going to be a combination of join me in a no-buy February along with my empties, so everything that I've used up for the month of January. Let's get on into it. First, I would like to invite you to join me in No Buy February. As I've talked about in previous videos, I would really love for this to be a community where like-minded YouTubers are interested in a no-buy or low-buy journey, in joining me on this journey, maybe trying one out for themselves. We could give each other support and build up a support network and also provide resources for each other that we have found helpful. With that, I would like to invite you to join me in some form of no-buy or low-buy February. Now, by the time this video goes up, it will be well into February, probably on February 6th. So it doesn't have to be, you don't have to start right on February 1st, and you don't even have to do it for a month. It could be whatever works for you. So it could be a no-buy or low-buy week, or 2 weeks, or a month, whatever feels comfortable for you. If you would like to join me in some kind of no-buy or low-buy for February, I would love to have you. Please leave me a comment down below if you're planning on joining, how long you are going to join for, and what your rules are for your no or low buy. I think it's really important to have rules and a framework for your no buy, or if it's a low buy, your low buy, just to really set yourself up for success. You want to build your no-buy rules, your framework, so that it supports you in the way that makes sense for you. And it doesn't have to be what I'm doing. So if you haven't watched my introductory video, I will link it up in the cards. But I am not buying any skincare, makeup, clothing, accessories for the month. Well, I'm doing it for the whole year, but also for the month of February. And your categories don't have to be my categories. It could be books or houseplants or candles or eating out. Whatever part of your life that you feel like you want to get more control over, as far as more conscious consuming and making more thoughtful decisions and how you spend your money in that particular area, that can be your no or low buy. So really the rules should be tailored to fit your needs, to fit your lifestyle, and the timing should also be set so that it supports you in however long you want to try out a no or low buy situation. I just wanted to lead off with that. Please join me if you have an interest for No Buy February. So let's get into my empties. I'm really excited that I got through so many products this past month, the month of January. Now that I've got a full month of no buy under my belt, it feels really good to have used up a lot of products and to whittle down my collection so that eventually the goal is to have one item in each category so that I have a collection that is very curated, that meets my needs, and that I don't have any superfluous extra stuff just taking up not only physical space in my house, in our home, but also mental space. Here we go. Got my bag here. I'm not doing this in any particular order. I'm just gonna reach in here and start pulling stuff out. The first things I have here are my Honest Soothing Therapy Eczema Cream. I talked about this in my January roundup video of things that I had purchased for the month. The reason why I purchased it was because I am out, and this is the only lotion that I use. It's the only one that I have. I have no backups. I do really like this cream. It's very hydrating. It's nourishing and lightweight on my skin. It doesn't feel very heavy, but I can still feel its presence in a way that is very comforting and calming for my skin. I don't like lotion that when you put them on, they're just absorbed immediately and you can't even tell that you put cream or lotion on your skin. I like the creams and lotions that I use to have a little bit of heft to them, to have some presence, but not necessarily to be very greasy, except for my face. When I go to bed at night, I literally want my face to feel like the Exxon Valdez just cruised across my visage. But for my body, I liked lotions or creams that have a presence. I feel like they're still there and hydrating and comforting my skin, but it's not super greasy, if that makes sense. And this one definitely does the trick, so highly recommend this one. My next product that I pulled out, kind of in the same vein, is my body wash. It's the Mustela Stellatopia Cleansing Cream. This is made for babies. It's intended for infants with eczema. It has a lot of really amazing oils, like very nourishing oils in it. It has sunflower seed oil. It has avocado fruit extract. I just really love this. It's super, super creamy and thick and nourishing, and it doesn't suds. I'm always very nervous about body wash like products that suds a lot. I don't like that. Typically that means it's going to be very drying for my skin, very irritating for my skin, and this does not do that. It truly is a cleansing cream. It stays as a cream when you're using it. Love this product. Have already purchased my replacement. It's awesome. So highly recommend that one as well. Next that I pulled out of the bag is a sample from Beauty Counter. So a friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine, and I will link her Beauty Counter website below, has just joined Beauty Counter to sell their products, and I have never tried Beauty Counter products, and I won a giveaway that she was having, which I will talk about more in a minute. And she sent me all of these samples along with the giveaway. And this was one of them. It's the Beauty Counter Counter Sun Mineral Sunscreen Lotion in SPF 30. I really liked this. It was very hydrating for my skin. I don't think I would recommend this for folks with oily or combo skin because it felt very hydrating and definitely left a dewy sheen on my face, which I personally like because I have very dry skin, but I feel like if you had oilier skin, that may not be so great unless you were going to just wear this by itself and not put makeup over it. But I'm wearing it today. I just used this up today, which I guess technically makes it a February empty. Oh well. We're counting it as January. It's only February 2nd today. This was super hydrating. It layered under my makeup beautifully. It did dry down some, but not completely. Like, it definitely left a dewy sheen on my face after it had been sitting there for, say, 5 to 10 minutes. Being a mineral sunscreen, they say in the product description on the website that it has minimal white cast. I can't speak very much to whether or not this does leave a white cast, only because I'm so pale as it is that whenever I try a mineral sunscreen, I don't see a white cast because I'm so pale already. I think that's, even if it would leave a white cast on a deeper skin tone, it doesn't on me for that reason. So I didn't notice a white cast, doesn't mean that it wouldn't leave one on deeper skin tones. I just know that I really liked it. It had a really lovely citrus fragrance to it, which I liked. Didn't irritate my skin. My only beef about this is that it's SPF 30, and that is a pretty common issue that I run into with sunscreens. Finding mineral sunscreens that have an SPF higher than 30 is pretty difficult. I do have, right now I'm using the Purito SPF 50. I think it's called the Unscented Centella SPF 50, which has had a lot of controversy lately because apparently it's not really SPF 50, even though it says it is on the package. So that product is actually been pulled from the shelves. You can't, from what I understand, you can't buy that anymore, at least for the time being. I had heard that Purito was going to do some testing and reformulation with that product. So that is what I'm currently using up that's in my vanity. I mean, I just received this sample a week ago and figured I would use it up and then go back to the Purito, which is almost done. And then I do have the Josie Maran SPF, it's the Mineral SPF 47 moisturizing lotion in my backup skincare as well. So that's what I'll be using next. But I haven't found too many mineral sunscreens that are higher than SPF 30 that I really like, that layer well under makeup, other than the Purito, which turns out wasn't SPF 50, and the Josie Maran. If you have a recommendation for a mineral sunscreen that is higher than SPF 30, please put it in the comments below, because that is one area of my skincare routine where I'm always looking for some improvement. I'm always looking for a possibly better product. I don't know. I do think I would purchase this. I just wish it was higher SPF. All right. Digging in the bag. Okay, what have we got here? This is the Boom Nectar Deep Moisturizing Face and Eye Serum. I really love this. This is my hydrating serum that I layer on over my other serums after. So it's the last serum that I apply before I go in with eye cream and then moisturizer and then SPF. So this I use both morning and night. At night it goes on after I use a Paula's Choice 1% BHA, and then I alternate every other night. I will also apply Paula's Choice retinol, and then I put this on top of that to kind of lessen the irritation factor of the retinol. For me, it's more drying. I don't experience a lot of redness as an inflammatory response to retinol. For me, it's dryness and flakiness is more of what I experience with as a negative impact of using retinol. So this kind of helps mitigate that a little bit, as long as I'm not using the retinol every night. And then I also use it during the day after I apply I use a vitamin C serum. It's a ferulic acid vitamin C serum by Maylove. And then over that, I will put the Evan Healy Sea Algae Serum, which has CoQ10 and hyaluronic acid, which I love. And then I put this on top of that, and I really love that combination as well. So really love this. Use this one up. I have another one already in my vanity, but I think I purchased it in December. It wasn't in my purchases for January. I would have shared that in my January wrap-up video. So I'm pretty sure I had my backup for this already in my vanity from when I purchased it back in December. I'm pretty sure that's when I bought it. So next up is the Lange. Am I mispronouncing that? Please let me know. Lange Deja Vu Dry Shampoo. I hated this. Absolutely hated this, and will never repurchase it again. It made my hair even greasier, which seems like the opposite of what a dry shampoo should do. It was terrible. The only thing that wasn't objectionable about it was the smell. It didn't have, just a light, fresh scent. That was fine, but it didn't do what it's supposed to do. It did not actually absorb any of the excess oil around my scalp or my hair. And for me, that's really important because I only wash my hair about once every 7 to 8 days. So a dry shampoo is something that I use quite regularly, that I really need to perform well. This did not do it. It was terrible. Do not purchase this. Okay, let's see. Glossier Priming Moisturizer. This was okay. I didn't love it and I didn't hate it. It was just okay. I think it was a little light for a moisturizer for winter. Probably would be better for the summertime. I found that the Pacifica Probiotic Coconut, I believe it's called the Pacifica Probiotic Coconut Water Rehab Cream, something like that, is what I'm using now now that this has been used up as my moisturizer. So this is what I was putting on before my sunscreen. So after all of my serums, I would put, and my eye cream, I would put this on, let that dry down a bit, and then put my sunscreen on over top of that, let that dry down a bit, then put on my primer and makeup. And this was just okay. I don't think I'll be buying it again. I didn't find it hydrating enough for my skin. Speaking of, I should have just looked down and seen what I had pulled out of the bag. As I'm talking about the Pacifica Coconut here's what it's actually called. The Pacifica Coconut Probiotic Technology Water Rehab Cream. This is what I like much better than the Glossier. So I've already gone through this and one of these and already have a new one of these in my vanity. This is what I'm using in between my serums and my sunscreen, and I love it. It's very nourishing, very, very hydrating and calming. That's what I really love about this, is how calming it is. It just takes my skin just back a notch, just knocks the wind out of its sails just enough to kind of calm down the redness, calm down the irritation, which I often experience most intensely in the morning. For those of you who don't know, I have mentioned it in previous videos. I do have eczema, I have rosacea, so anything that's going to kind of knock the wind out of my sails, out of my skin, rosacea, eczema sails is always a good thing. And I find that this does the trick. So I really like this. I already have a new one in my vanity that I'm using now that this is used up. Highly recommend this if you have very dry, sensitive, stressed out skin. It's great. What's up next? This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in taupe. I did really like this. I like brow pencils that are very fine, that have a very fine point, because I have very thin, sparse brows, and some eye pencils that have a very substantial tip, I can't get enough control, and I end up with this just block of heavy color in my eyebrows, and it just looks terrible. So I really like a super fine tip to my brow pencils, which this has. The color worked well on me, and then it has the the little spoolie on the end that you can kind of blend in the color with. I did like this. I do think I would repurchase it. Right now I'm using the M Cosmetics brow pencil, which I really like as well. It has a very fine tip like this one does. They seem to be quite similar in formulation, in the color match for my brows, and I don't know if I'm going to repurchase this one after the M Cosmetics is used up, or the M Cosmetics again. We'll see. But I did really like this. Next up, the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the color Chantilly. I loved this product, and I'm sad that it is used up. I have 2 more liquid concealers that I need to use up before I can repurchase another concealer. Just to give you a little context on that, I use both a pot concealer. I like to use a pot cream concealer for touch-up concealing on my face, and then I like to use a liquid / kind of creamy concealer under the eyes. So I have 2 more concealers that I have to use up before I need to purchase another type like this. I would repurchase this. It was very hydrating. It blended in beautifully under the eyes. It was a pretty good not a shade match for my skin. It's paler than that, but that's what I wanted. I wanted it to have a very brightening effect. So that part I really liked. So I think the shade is good for what I want it to do. My two backups that I have are the Florence by Mills See You Later Concealer in the lightest shade. I can't recall the name of the shade off the top of my head. And that's what I'm actually using right now, what I'm trying to use up right now. And then I have the Kosas Revealer Concealer, again, in the lightest shade. So we'll see how I feel about the Kosas one once I use up the Florence by Mills. The Florence by Mills, spoiler alert, I don't love it. It's not horrible, but it's very thin and it seems to settle into my, like the fine lines around my eyes a little bit more. It's definitely more than the NARS did. And it just doesn't, I don't know, the coverage is not great. It's so thin and a little watery and it settles into my lines a little bit. It's a fussy product. I just don't love it. This was much better. So we'll see. The jury's out on if I would repurchase this or the Kosas. Next up, the Evan Healy Sea Algae Serum. I mentioned this. This is one of my daytime serums. I have been repurchasing this for the past 2 years, I think. This was recommended to me by a friend who has very similar skin concerns that I do. She really loves it. I love it. I go through probably a bottle a month and always repurchase it. It is very light, so it's very lightweight. It's very hydrating. It has hyaluronic acid in it. It has CoQ10. I know I mentioned that earlier in the video. And my skin really seems to react well to sea algae. Products that have sea algae in them, I don't know. My skin just loves it. It just feels soothing on my skin, hydrating. My skin just feels happy when I use it. And I do think when you're tailoring your skincare regimen, think about what feels good on your skin. Sometimes it can be hard to really pinpoint the finer differences between this serum or this moisturizer or that moisturizer. And I honestly believe in just listening to kind of your intuition in what your skin seems to just like. You may not be able to describe very eloquently why your skin likes the product so much, but I've just noticed every time I use products with sea algae in them, my skin just seems happy. So I have already repurchased this and will repurchase another one when the one that's in my vanity is out. Next up is a product I was using as a primer. The Juice Beauty Stem Cellular CC Cream in Natural Glow. This, I believe, is intended to sort of be more like a tinted moisturizer, but it does not have enough coverage for me. It does have SPF 30 in it, which I really like. And I saw on a video someone was using this as a primer. So I started to do that, wearing it underneath my makeup as a primer. So I would put this on over my sunscreen, but before my foundation. And I really liked it using it in that way. It provided me a little bit of extra glow, just a touch of extra coverage under my foundation. The texture was really nice. It is pretty rich. I don't know that I would recommend this for someone with very, very oily skin, but for me, with very dry skin, my skin really seemed to like it. As far as repurchasing, I do think I would repurchase this. I have 2 other primers right now in my vanity. Right now I'm using the Glossier. It's an oil serum hybrid. Not sure of the name, but I know that Amanda Z uses it as a primer on her channel. She talks about it a lot, how much she loves it as a primer. And then I have the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Face Base as a primer. That one also, another Amanda Z recommendation. I do think the oil serum hybrid, the Glossier, is better for winter, which is why I'm using that now. And then hopefully I will use that up just in time for sort of the transition to spring and summer. But I do think I would repurchase this. We'll see. We'll see how I feel about it after I get through my other primers. This one is the Paula's Choice 1% Retinol Treatment with peptides and vitamin C. So I did mention this earlier in the video as well. This is what I use about every other day on top of my Paula's Choice 1% BHA. And then I layer the Boom Nectar on over top of this to kind of knock back some of the drying aspect of it that it seems to trigger in my skin. I do really like the Paula's Choice retinol products. I have used them on and off over the years and repurchased them many times. I do think when it comes to treatment products that Paula's Choice does an excellent job. She includes all of the research behind the ingredients that are in her products in the product listings on the website. I mean, I just really think they're high quality, well-researched products. And I do like this. Don't love that it dries out my skin a little bit if I use it too frequently, but is it really that big of a deal to just use it less frequently and then not have the drying aspect as much? No, it's not that big of a deal. So I will repurchase this, I think. If I don't repurchase it when the next one I have is out, so I already have a replacement for this in my vanity, then I'm sure I'll repurchase it at some point in the future. So this is it's a sample of the French Girl Neroli Eye Serum. This I actually got in a Pettivore box. I used to subscribe to Pettivore. I ended that subscription in December in preparation for my no-buy year. That was part of the rules, not to have any beauty product subscriptions or things like that. And this came in the October box, if I am remembering that correctly. I didn't love this. It is very hydrating, which I do like. It is like an oil. It says that it's a serum. I would disagree with that. I would call this should be called the Neroli Eye Oil. It is very heavy. It is very oily. Normally, that wouldn't bother me because my skin is so dry, but I did find that this migrated into my eyes, and then I would get a film over my eyes. I would notice it especially when I would be laying in bed at night reading. It would be hard for me to read my book because this was creating a film over my eyes. So didn't like that. I would tried using just a tiny amount of it and keeping it away from the lash line. No matter what I did, I always seemed to get some of this in my eye or in my eyes. So would not recommend this and will not be repurchasing it. Not that this was a purchase, but I wouldn't purchase it. Okay, next up are some more samples from Beauty Counter. So these all came from my friend. Talked about it earlier in the video. So we have the Beauty Counter Plus All Bright C Serum. This is a vitamin C serum. This was okay. It had a nice texture, kind of a silky, slightly thicker fluid texture. It had a really nice smell, kind of smelled like green juice. It's hard to know with samples like this of treatment products how effective they truly are, because I feel like you have to use a treatment product for weeks before seeing any results. So when you get a little sample, it's just hard to know, did this actually do anything over the course of the 2 or 3 days you were using it? I think it had enough for 3 uses. It was okay. I don't know that I would purchase this only because I really like my Maylove vitamin C serum. So I think it would take a lot to get me to... a product sample would really have to impress me to get me away from my Maylove. And then I also got a Beauty Counter Time Mineral Boost Hydrating Essence sample. This I loved. I will be purchasing this. I am planning on purchasing this when my current toner, which is, I believe it's called the Good Earth Rose Water and Glycerin Toner. It's a very inexpensive toner that you can get on Amazon. You can get like 2 huge bottles for, I think, $13 or something like that. And it's not this one, the one that I'm currently using, that I've been using day to day for a while now. It's just a good basic hydrating toner. It has glycerin in it, it has rose water in it, it smells nice. but it doesn't knock your socks off. It's kind of just like spraying some fancy water on your face. This, on the other hand, it had a thicker texture. I've never used an essence before, so maybe that's why I was just kind of whoa about the texture, was that I'm used to sort of really watery toners, just like a water mist that you spray on your face. It happens to have a few extra ingredients in it. This actually had some substance to the formula. It felt thicker. It felt much more nourishing than the Good Earth rose water toner that I'm using. I really liked it. And I understand that the Beauty Counter Countertime line was designed or modeled after Korean skincare, and essences, I guess, are supposed to be very popular in Korean skincare. And I must say, I'm kind of an essence convert after trying my first essence from Beauty Counter, and I will be purchasing this once I run out of the Good Earth Rose Water Toner. So that was a win-win. Loved that. Here's another Beauty Counter Countertime sample of the Tetrapeptide Supreme Cream. Now this sample is actually of the same product that I won in the giveaway that my friend did. So this came, she put a bunch of samples in the box, but what I had won was a full-size jar of this product, and I love it. It is so hydrating, but somehow just leaves the most beautiful, velvety, just slightly dewy texture behind. Not very greasy, but feels so hydrating, which is unique for me. That's a unique experience for me. In the past, most of my uber hydrating night creams have also left a greasy feeling on my face, which again, as I've mentioned, is not something that is a deal breaker for me. And I always sort of took that as part and parcel of, if you're going to have a very hydrating, nourishing night cream, your face is going to be greasy. I just thought that was the way it was. This product has proved otherwise. Very hydrating, sinks into the skin. You can still feel its presence, which I like. It feels like I have something on my skin, that it's nourishing my skin. It doesn't just disappear completely, like absorb, and then it's like it was never there. But it definitely doesn't leave a greasy residue. And after reading through the ingredients list, I'm sold. I really, really like this, and I will be repurchasing it after the jar that I won in the giveaway is used up, and after I use my backup nighttime moisturizer up. So I have another jar of a different kind of nighttime moisturizer. It's the Boom, I believe it's called Boom Silk, by the same company that makes the Boom Nectar. And I really like that product as well, but it definitely is a simpler, very, very heavy moisturizer. Definitely leaves a greasy film, the Boom Silk. It has, I think, just 6 ingredients in it. I think the first one being olive oil, and you notice it. When you put it on your face, it kind of emulsifies down into an oil on your face, which I like. I like that feeling. I like, that greasy feeling doesn't bother me. But just experiencing the elegance of this formula and having my skin still feel just as hydrated without that greasy feeling, I don't know, it's kind of converting me a little bit. So I will repurchase this in the future at some point. Next beauty counter sample is the Countertime Tri-Peptide Radiance Serum. I really liked this serum as well, although again, similar feedback as the vitamin C serum. It's hard to know how effective this is when I've only used it for a few days. I was using this during the day because my thought process was the night cream, it has peptides in it already, and I have a peptide booster from Paula's Choice that I will put in my moisturizer for during the day. So this was a substitute for that. So I was using this as a peptide serum in lieu of my Paula's Choice peptide booster. I liked it. I don't know that I would purchase this only because I do like the Paula's Choice peptide booster, and I have that in my vanity. I'm currently using it now that I have used up this little sample of this peptide serum. I really like the peptide booster because the Paula's Choice peptide booster because you can add it to other serums, you can add it to moisturizers, and it just takes out an extra step. Like if I was to use this as my way to get peptides into my skincare in the morning, it would have to be tacked on to the 2 other serums I'm already using. No, 3 other serums I'm already using. And 4 serums seems like a lot. That seems like a little too bougie, a little too extra. So, you know, I just like the simplicity of the Paula's Choice booster, that I can just add it to any of my existing products rather than having to add a whole new product and a whole new step to my skincare. So I don't think I would purchase this. And then that is it in my bag of empties. There were some things that I forgot to put in my empties cabinet that I accidentally just recycled and wasn't able to rescue out of the recycles before they left the property. So that would be 3 different candles I've used up. They were all from the company Homesick. I will put them on the screen here. I used up 2 of the Winter Mantle candles by Homesick and then the Pumpkin Picking candle. All very seasonal scents. I do like Homesick. I think their branding is spot on. This whole creation of candles to evoke memories or to evoke memories of a specific place. For those of you that don't know, Homesick does a whole line of candles for the different states. So they have one for Colorado and one for New York and one for Georgia. And basically they have a candle for every state that's supposed to evoke the essence of that state. I've tried the New York candle, I've tried Minnesota, I've tried the Los Angeles and Southern California candles. Side note, they don't just do state-wide candles, they also do candles for specific cities, not all cities, but they have a candle for like Chicago, for New York City, for Los Angeles, for major cities, if you want to, major cities, however you define that. And I do really like their candles. I love the Southern California and the Los Angeles candle are 2 of my favorites. Those are more candles that I burn in the spring and the summer. I did really like Winter Mantle and Pumpkin Picking. The one thing I will say is I've noticed that the throw on some of Homesick's candles, it's not great. It's just not great. I notice a lot more throw, for example, from my Soda Scents candles. So I love Soda Scents. They are a company that creates candles inspired by the state of Minnesota. And one of their shticks is that they use wood wicks instead of like a cotton or fabric wick. So the candle actually crackles. It's supposed to sound kind of like a fireplace because of the wood wick. And those candles have an amazing throw. We have 2 candles currently in our home from Soda Scents that I'm using that have not been used up. Autumn Leaves, and I'm trying to remember what the other one is. I think it's something like Campfire or Northwoods Campfire, something like that. And they have an amazing throw. You light those candles, you can smell them throughout the whole house. I just love those candles. So that's my only complaint about the Homesick candles. I love the fragrances. I wish they just had more throw. That's all. So I used up those 3 candles, and then I also used up my Function of, I keep pointing that way. Should be pointing that way. I used up my Function of Beauty conditioner. So for those of you who don't know, Function of Beauty is a custom hair care company, meaning you take a quiz, you build a profile about what kind of hair you have, what are your hair goals, and then they make custom mixed products for you based on your hair type and your hair goals. So I use my shampoos and conditioners come from them, and I recently used up one of my conditioners from them, which was a big deal because, again, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I only wash my hair about once a week. It takes me forever to get through a small bottle of shampoo and a small bottle of conditioner. So I did use up my conditioner. I've already repurchased a new one. It's already in the shower, ready to go. Pretty awesome stuff. I do really like their products. It does seem to help my hair. And yeah, I don't really have any, I mean, who can complain about custom mixed hair care products that, I mean, you can even choose the scent, and they have natural scents, you know, that are not synthetic fragrances. You can also choose no fragrance. You can choose the color. The bottle's personalized with your name on it. And I believe my hair care, well, I know my hair care profile is that I have very long, fine, thick-ish, not super thick hair, but I have very fine hair. I just have a lot of it. So I have very, very, very fine hair. A lot of it is very, very long, and it's very, very dry. So that's like my hair type. Or it's very straight as well, maybe with a very slight wave, but mostly very straight. And then my hair goals are things that, you know, you have to pick. I think you can pick up to 5 hair goals for the products. So they'll mix substances into the shampoos and conditioners that are supposed to support your hair goals. And I think the hair goals I chose were hydration, anti-aging, volumizing, lengthening, and I don't know. I can't remember what the other one was. Something along that kind of just goes with the rest of those goals. Really like Function of Beauty products. Will continue to repurchase them. That is it for my January empties. I feel pretty accomplished, and it feels good to use up what I already have rather than going out and buying new stuff, unless I actually have used up, you know, as I mentioned with some of these things, you know, this was the last, you know, I don't have like 20 body washes. This was it. This was the one body wash I had. So once it was used up, I bought a new one. For some of the products, I don't have a huge backlog of, but some of them I do. And it feels really good to get through some of those, especially makeup items like the concealer. Like now I'm down to 2 liquid concealers. So I feel like I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, that maybe by the end of this year, I will have used up all my concealer, and then I can just buy one concealer that I really, really love and just have that, use it up, buy a new one, and just have this system, this curated collection of skincare, hair care, makeup, and clothing, where I have the one item that works best for me in each category, and that's it. And that just, I feel like I have made a tiny little step of progress towards that with all of these empties. That is it for today. Please remember, if you are joining me in any aspect of a no buy or low buy February, to comment down below. Please let me know how long you're planning on doing your no buy. Please let me know what your rules are for your no buy or your low buy. I would love to hear about it, just so we can support each other and cheer each other on. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Please like the video. It sure helps me out a lot. And I would love it if you would consider subscribing, especially if you're interested in joining me on this no-buy journey, seeing what happens throughout this year of no-buy 2021. So please give it a like, please subscribe, please ring the little bell, the little notification bell. Please ring the little notification bell so that you are notified of all my upcoming uploads. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.